thanks for stopping by. Obviously, kind of moving into 2020, we have the new wellness division in the NPC. And right at the head of it, putting it together and devising it, J.M. Manion. So.
Well, along with Sandy Williamson, my son Tyler, and of course the Prez overseeing everything.
Sure. So I was thinking maybe I'd just ask you some questions that's on everybody's minds.
Sure.
Go from there, and then those are probably prompt questions from people. One of them is about suits. Is there any stipulations on what kind of suits they can wear?
Yes and no. We're actually going to be putting out a statement about the suits. People want to be more specific about it. The suits are more like a bikini suit. They are not like the figure, the fitness, women's physique that connect in the back. Okay, it's a separate top and a separate bottom. And most of the the wellness suits are all material on the sides. They don't have connectors. Okay. When you look at it, they're bedazzled, basically. They have their bling on it, so it kind of looks like connectors, but they sit up high on the hip. It's V-shaped. It's basically like a bikini suit, but just all cloth. Now, if say a bikini competitor is crossing over and wants to do wellness, and they want a suit with connectors, they can compete in it. They're not going to be judged any differently. They're not going to be marked down with it. It's really a personal choice. What they want to wear, but most of the wellness suits are made from all cloth. You can actually look at them, and I've seen a lot of them, especially in the international countries where the tops are a little bit fancier too. And there's no stipulation on top. Some of them are just the material. Some of them do the cups. You know, it's kind of loosely based on the bikini suit. Okay, just the difference is usually there's no connectors. That's what the main thing is. So, you know, and especially when you see it from the back, people are like, oh, the suits are a lot smaller in the back. Well, it's not that they're smaller, it's just that the wellness girls' glutes are a little bit bigger.
Anything stipulations relative to shoes?
No.
Standard stuff that they're
Standard
wearing
stuff.
in bikini and figure?
Yes. I mean, I would wear the same type of shoes that they wear in, like you said, bikini or figure. Don't do anything different.
So, slightly off topic. Question we always have is, is there a preference to shoes with bling as opposed to shoes that are clear?
I don't think it makes a difference. I have really seen in the international countries a lot of the competitors have bling on them, but again, it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference in your judging. I know that a lot of the American, USA judges prefer more of the clear style. But you know, we are forging our own way here. Okay, I know there's wellness in other organizations, basically, but we have our own way that we're going to be doing it. Like, and one of the things is in the posing, as I think you have all seen, how the girls are not going to do that pose where they have their arm up like this.
So there's four stances in the comparison round.
Mm-hmm.
Front stance.
Quarter turn.
How's that need to be done?
The hips are kind of shifted a little bit. And like one foot's just the one leg a little bit more in front of the other. It's not a straight on like you do.
Like a bikini stance?
Kind of like a bikini.
But you're more straightforward. None of the side stances.
No.
So
No.
then when the head judge asks for a quarter turn to the right, how does it work with their arm?
Oh, they do their arms just as you do it in bikini or figure.
Down.
Down. And
but you mentioned you don't want it to be out.
Right. And I've seen at the wellness model searches that we've been doing it, the judges have been instructing the competitors to put their arms down. They're not used to it, a lot of the international competitors. Yeah. Okay, but that's something they have to know, that if they pose with their arm doing this, no matter whether it's from the side, the back, whatever, it's in our rules, they will be scored down, because that is not the posing.
So
they should learn it real quick.
As they go
And any posing coaches, make sure you let them know that.
Quarter turn to the right, is there a hand on a hip? Does it matter?
No, it doesn't matter. The thing that is whenever you do the quarter turn to the right, is the front leg's straight, the back leg's bent. Same with the other side. Okay.
So the leg facing the judges is straight, and the leg up by the curtain is bent.
No, opposite way.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because,
So the back leg against the curtain is straight, and the left leg is bent slightly.
right,
No.
right, yeah, the back leg is bent, yeah, the front leg's straight, I'm sorry, yes.
So the leg by the curtain is bent,
Yes, I'm sorry, that's, yeah, that,
and the one by the judges is straight.
yeah, that's why I just
Now,
needed a cheat
this girl has
sheet.
her hand on her hip.
Right,
Is that necessary or
No.
optional?
it's optional,
Yeah. Cool.
yeah.
You guys can find this stuff on NPC News.
I'm using my own,
Yeah.
using NPC News Online as my cheat sheet.
So then when they go to the rear stance, what is that?
Straight up bikini pose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, are they gonna be able to show their back, though? Is it-
if they want, but they can leave their hair down too.
Okay, so it's an option.
Correct. That's why when we put the photos up under wellness for the rules, we showed it both ways,
Right, okay. gotcha.
okay? But yeah, their hair can be, you can pull it off or you can leave it back.
Would there be an advantage to showing the back as an out, or is it scoring? It's just whatever looks better on that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, just like in bikini.
Well, that may, that's a good question, Jerry. So the question then, let's move through the posing first. So they make another quarter turn to the right,
Yes,
and the leg closest to the judges is straight.
correct,
Back leg is bent.
right.
Turn it back to the front.
Yes.
Now, what Jerry's, relative to Jerry's point, a lot of it goes to criteria.
Mhm.
So if our criteria, depending on the amount of muscularity you want, will dictate whether they sweep their hair or not, maybe.
Right, but the
So-
back, there's nothing about the back really being judged.
Sure, although let's talk about criteria for a minute. How much muscularity you guys want to see?
As we say, it's a very athletic look, okay? It's not supposed to be like women's physique, okay? They're not supposed to have any cap delts or anything like that. It's not even supposed to be, I don't want to use the word hard, but it's even as hard as figure, okay? It's that blend, it is kind of the blend between bikini and figure.
Yeah. So
Because when you go, let's just jump back to the posing. When you go to comparisons and they call you out, the head judge calls them out, when they turn to the back, they're going to do we call it the bikini walk, but we should just call it the model walk now. They will do that. They'll take their steps back, stop, turn them around, and then walk them forward again. Okay? Then they'll do the rest of the quarter turns.
So relative to criteria, I guess we've always heard in wellness that the lower body's so much bigger.
It's bigger, but most of these competitors and the ones that I have spoken to, okay, they've been athletes, most of them their entire lives, and that's why their lower bodies are built up more. Like soccer players, gymnasts, dancers, volleyball, beach volleyball, things like that. These are women that have done these sports 15, 20 years, and no matter what they do, it's gonna be hard to bring it down. And it's their genetics too, you know. And as we've all talked about off the record about the different ethnicities, how they're built and things like that, and it's just the way it is. And these women will probably look similar to that even if they were competing because they were athletes. I'd say 90% of them were athletes their entire lives.
Let's talk about balance. Does the upper body need to match the size of the lower body?
No.
No.
No. Matter of fact, so I'm actually just going to read right from the rules here. It says, for level of conditioning, we're looking for conditioning almost on par with bikini athletes, but the athlete will have slightly more muscle. We want to see a little body fat with slight separation, but no striations. Abs defined like figure or less defined like bikini, as it currently is in bikini. Shoulders, rounded and capped like figure in women's physique or less pronounced like bikini. Slightly more developed than bikini and a little less than figure, but not as lean and with no striations. Not like women's physique. It's exactly how he says. And how much definition for quads? The quads should display an athletic appearance with slight separation but no striations. Not as lean and defined as figure and women's physique. And then the last one is glute development, which is what everybody seems to be focusing on with them, naturally. Full rounded glutes with a slight separation between the hamstring and glute area, but no striations as in place for the bikini division. Glutes will be bigger than current bikini competitors. They will not be as lean and defined as figure and women's physique. Does that make sense to everybody?
So I guess the question might be next, relative to Jerry's question, the amount of muscularity in their back, for instance, in bikini, if somebody's got some muscle in their back, they usually try to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
So, to their advantage, should they probably cover this up?
Yeah, I mean, because the back really isn't being judged.
Although somebody swipes it and they got a big muscular back, that could be a situation.
Correct, correct.
So, in many of these, in all the divisions, matter of fact, from figure to men's physique and through, there's always a transition period. And I guess the question is the amount of conditioning in their glutes, hips, and hamstrings. Because a lot of folks hearing them talk think that the lower body just needs to be bigger. But there's not a lot of conversation about the conditioning.
Yeah, one of the things that one of the knocks I hear on wellness, ever since, I mean, when I initially heard about wellness, thank you, Johnny Styles, I was like everybody else. I'm just like, I'll be honest, I'm like, oh, these girls are just, they're heavy, they're not as in shape as the other competitors. Well, let me just tell you, I was 1,000% wrong. Okay, they are just as in shape as the figure competitors, as the bikini competitors, as anybody else. It was a learning process for me, and it took me going to these international contests to see this, okay? But, you know, the thing is that everyone always goes, oh, it's a bunch of out-of-shape bikini or figure competitors with fat behinds. Trust me, they are not fat behinds at all, okay? You know, I always joke around with everybody that the old saying, you could bounce a quarter off her butt, right? I always go, you can take a stack of quarters. I go, just put some safety goggles on first, because you're going to bounce it off then, all the quarters are going to shoot back at you.
So let's talk briefly about the contest itself. What would their presentation look like?
Presentation, again, it's very similar to bikini. You know, but the poses, you know, as far as they can add some flair to it in between. They don't have to, like figure, they don't have to just go front, side, back, side, a little bit to it. But nothing crazy, and no.
Well, in bikini, we generally advise front, back, front.
Yeah.
Is that the same for wellness?
No, it's quarter turns.
Okay.
Yeah. But the way I've seen it, I mean, like if you're talking like, did they walk in? It all depends on the contest and the way the stage is set up. I mean, if they're going to come in and do the T-walk, or they're going to direct them right to the, you know, it just be prepared for anything.
Like
basically.
as in figure, we advise that they do a front stance, and then they have the option of 3 other stances. Is that the way it is in wellness, where you have to do a front stance first?
Yes.
And then you have the option of 3 others of your choice?
No. You have to do the quarter turns.
You have to do quarter turns in your presentation.
Yes.
In that format.
Yes.
Right turns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not an option to not do them. It's you have to come out and you have to start from the front, and then you do your quarter turns.
I see.
Yeah.
With maybe some twisting or something,
Yeah.
some kind of flair if you can do that.
If you can, right.
Yeah. Much the same relative to hair, bling, earrings, things like that.
Same as bikini.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably no headgear, no headwear,
No.
chokers, things
No.
like that.
No, I mean, I see a lot of the wellness model searchers, they get crowns at the end. But you can't wear that. You can't wear that on stage to
What about
pose.
anklets? Because I've seen a few girls with anklets.
I really don't see many with anklets, but I would advise against it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else? What are we forgetting? Rick?
If they would wear some type of jewelry, would they be judged down for that?
No. No, but you don't want to make it excessive, because you want them to focus on your physique. Okay? And also, especially like bikini, I mean, they are looking at hair and makeup and stuff like that also.
So the running of it will be much the same as bikini and figure, where they come out and do a presentation, then they come out in groups,
Yeah.
and then call-outs.
Right.
Yeah. And then back again for awards at nighttime, much the same.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So let's talk about when they start to qualify for pro cards.
Okay, so the first pro qualifier in the United States, okay, is going to be the Arnold Amateur in Columbus. Okay, we did, Mike Davies and I did a video at the Olympia, which you can look at on NPC News Online. There's going to be one pro card for the overall winners. I don't think at the time that they had how many classes yet, but as far as classes, there are only 4 height classes. You don't have to have 4. Okay, if you're running one of your other contests, you can you have the option of doing 2 or 3, but
Will they be much the same, 5'2", 5'4", 5'6", and over?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's all, like I said, it's all laid out right here in the
So
like
for-
2 classes, up to 5'4" and over 5'4".
So somewhere like maybe Rich's regional events early in the year, he may want to run too.
Yeah, I would probably say, to be honest, I would go with 2 because we don't know how this is going to go in the United States. I think it will. I mean, we know internationally how it's going, and there's a lot of people transitioning to NPC and NPC Worldwide. Now, as far as NPC Worldwide, when we just made the announcement today that the first pro qualifier is at the Olympia Amateur South America in Medellin, Colombia, which is Valentine's Day weekend. So, and the thing about NPC Worldwide, which I think a lot of people don't understand yet, is NPC competitors can fly to Colombia and compete there, and they could qualify to turn pro. So, you know, people who live in Florida or anywhere, you want to fly to Colombia, you want to enter, you can do that.
We had that happen in Costa Rica.
Right. Yeah. So you could do that, and then the Arnold is the Arnold Amateur is the next one in Columbus, and then the one after that is the Arnold Amateur in Australia. Those are the confirmed ones right now.
So relative to the NPC national level events, which ones will have pro cards?
The NPC Universe, not Team Universe, it's the NPC Universe. The NPC USA, the North American, okay, the Olympia Amateur, and the NPC Nationals.
So not the Junior Nationals, not the Junior USA, at least not at the moment, not the Masters Nationals.
Correct.
Right.
And as far as who gets a turn pro, it's the exact same as they do in bikini. So it'll be the top 2 in each class at the Universe, USA, Nationals. Yours is just
Class winners.
class winners, so it'll be class winners at the North American.
When's the first pro show?
We can't say that yet. I know.
Sure that. What else do we need to tell them?
So back to the regional level shows. So like Rich has a show in March next year. So he can have in that division a novice and then an open, not a true novice and a novice and an open, correct?
Yeah,
He can have a true novice in that division?
yeah, why not?
No masters class, no 35.
You could, but there's not going to be any Masters national events that are pro
I've heard
qualifiers.
this for a while.
As of right now, no, not while this is getting up and running. Maybe that's something to be looked at a couple of years down the road.
But I think that, for instance, in our regional events, we will definitely run Masters classes.
Yeah.
For sure,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
And it's top 2 and open that qualify for nationals.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and the qualifications and things are the same, and that who qualifies to turn pro are the same. You know, so, and if you do, if a NPC competitor wants to do any NPC Worldwide ones, you know, the Olympia Amateurs, just as an FYI, they are the top 3 in the overall. Now there's 4 classes, so one person will not get a pro card. Okay, and also something to note is that not every Olympia Amateur is going to have wellness. There'll be more announcements. We have more shows to announce, but we wanted to get the USA ones out because that was pretty cut and dry with the current national contest system, pro qualifying system we have. For the international, we want to get them, you know, prepared for, you know, February and March because it's right around the corner. We have other ones, but we just have to confirm them with the different promoters and things like that. So there's going to be more announcements coming out.
Sure. I mean, this thing's going to be fluid because, as I remember, when men's physique came along, We were wrong about that too. And we started out with 3 or 4 classes. And by the time the North America took place in September,
Yeah.
we bumped it to 6.
Right.
To accommodate the numbers.
Right.
So things are always going to be in flux.
Right. I mean, this is our starting point. You know, this is we have to start somewhere. You know, as they say, we got to pull the trigger. And like you said, Gary, I mean, you saw it yourself. Because I remember whenever my father called you, and said, "Oh, by the way, we're going to do 2 more classes of men's physique," like a week before the show.
And the numbers are screaming.
Yeah. And but it was easy to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean. You know, we know how wellness is working internationally. It's going to be interesting to see how it works here in the USA. I mean, from what they're saying, though, I mean, Canada is, you know, seems to be on board. Tony Doherty said there's a lot in Australia. I know Central and South America. I mean, we know all about that.
Any trainers, judges will tell you that people come in all the time to be assessed, and you'll say, look, you got to come down for bikini. And this is going to give them somewhere to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're out there.
Yeah.
All we got to do is make sure they're not out there eating donuts.
Right. Well, they can Saturday night after.
What other messages?
In regard to the height classes internationally right now, what do the height classes internationally look like? The reason why I'm
Same.
asking.
They're same.
They're the same? Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
the reason
across
I'm
the
asking
board.
is just about how the look may change.
It's across the board.
Once we come here.
It's across the board.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be the same height classes across the board.
I mean, already, the ones that have already gone on, do they have taller girls that are competing? 'Cause the majority of the time I see shorter girls that are winning. these
Oh, yeah, they have
things.
taller.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's several that are in Brazil that are very tall.
Okay.
Yeah, they're as tall as you.
Okay, that's why I'm asking. You know, I'm a taller girl.
Yes.
I gotta ask these questions.
So listen,
What other message do you need to get out to them relative to wellness?
it's a growing process. And like you said, it's as with every other division that we have started, you know, but the difference between the other divisions is they were not around before. We literally started them before. One of the things I get asked is, you know, what are we doing to change wellness? Well, wellness as it is what sold us to begin with. So there's really not going to be much changes. But we do want to direct the narrative on the look. And that's going to be in the amateur for both NPC and NPC Worldwide, and eventually in the IFBB Pro League. So when IFBB Pro League contests start, again, it's going to be controlling what the look is and to pick the people that you want the other competitors to look like. So
You just have to hold the line on criteria.
right. Yeah, and as you know, it's gonna be educating all the judges too.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Well, what did you think of it when you saw it in the Latin American Championships?
Wow.
I know you texted me, but I know you were pretty excited.
It was wild. I mean, I was amazed how many girls were in that kind of shape with that look. It was a home run, and they obviously were tuned into the fact that you need to be in shape. And it was a great look, not what a lot of people were expecting. I think a lot of folks are expecting a really big lower body, period.
Right.
That's not the case.
It's a very athletic look, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
It gives a lot of girls a place to go who in the past have not had anywhere without trying to kill themselves dieting down to something else.
Yeah, I said I know several IFBB bikini pros that have stopped competing this year because they told me that they were going to let their bodies go back to their natural state because they spent years trying to get their glutes and their thighs and hips and everything down to meet the criteria. And now they're like, oh, I can be me and actually still be in shape. And that's another reason why we said if a bikini competitor wants to switch over to wellness, that you can still wear your same suit. And that's the other thing too. That's a question people keep asking me. If you're a current IFBB Pro League athlete, can you just switch over? Yes, it's just like how we see them switch. You know, especially now you're starting to see some of the men's physique, the classic. Now we have George Peterson going from classic physique to 212. You don't have to re-qualify. Once you're a pro unless you get suspended. But, yeah, you can absolutely make the switch over and do it. And it's just, but the rules are still the same. You can't do 2 divisions as a pro in one contest. So this weekend, you could do wellness, and then next weekend, if you wanted to go back to figure or bikini, whatever you wanted to do. But you would definitely have to have, if you have to make your choice and go with it, you know. I know you had a question, Jerry.
Yeah, as far as the, back to the suits again, do the suits are they able to have designs on them, or is it just the rhinestone?
I've seen them,
Multicolored suits and stuff?
Yeah.
One straight color, something
No.
like that?
no?
Yeah, I saw some spectacular suits in the Latin American Championships, yeah. They ran the gamut. There were some that were more plain than others, some with a lot of bling, some had figure type, beyond figure designs. So, yeah, cool.
But that isn't going to change the judging, because you're judging the physique under it. So, you know, suit makers have fun.
Yeah, and you know, and some of the people were asking questions, and my advice to one girl was, that's a spectacular suit. But we had to get past that to see her.
That's true.
So,
That's what I was wondering, if something's gonna kind of overtake the physique, there's too much. of the
well,
suit.
then that's a mistake they make, and we tell figure girls that all the time. Be careful with your design, because we need to see you.
So this is probably projecting, but do you foresee this being an Olympia class in 2021?
I can't answer that question.
Projecting, I know, sorry.
No comment. No comment.
There you go.
Yeah, like right now, I'm not here to talk about anything with the IFBB Pro League, the pro division yet. Okay, we're releasing information piece by piece. We have the information, we just don't want to overload everybody. Okay, I mean, when we released the thing about the contest that for NPC here in the USA, how they could qualify to turn pro, I mean, for 4 days, it was just, I mean, the post was up one day, and then, I mean, it just grew in the amount of, you know, feedback, and I know people that were hitting me up for messages, or they're contacting the office, and they were talking to judges and everything else. If you throw too much at somebody at one time, because we, like I said, we had a description of the suits in these rules, but I guess it wasn't enough for everybody, so we actually have something that's written up that is going to go on to the website later on tonight, and on to the social media, which means by the time you see this, it'll already be up. But it's as detailed as we can give you to make the suits and know what to do, and still have freedom. So, anyone else?
Yeah, I have a question. So the only information people should be going by is stuff that NPC News is putting out? Because I'm seeing videos going up from NPC judges, from coaches, on the wellness criteria and the judging criteria. So we have people that ask us, like, are these legit? So they should just be looking at...
They should be on NPCNewsOnline.com, IFBBPro.com, NPCNewsTV.com. Yeah, if it's not coming from there, it's people's own interpretations. It's other officials or judges' interpretations, opposing coaches' interpretations. If you have a question, the best thing to do is to actually contact national office.
Actually, I wanted to clarify, so on the individual presentations, Gary was asking this, you have to do all 4 turns during your individual, all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, all 4 turns.
And they're the same in your individual as the comparisons?
Yes.
Like figure is different?
Correct. The only thing that's different in the comparisons is doing the bikini walk or the model walk. Once you're to the back, you know, how you say you're...
I seem to think you can add more flair in your presentation.
A little bit, yeah.
You can
You've seen it.
Customize them a little bit in
Yeah.
the presentation.
Yeah, and then the walk, I mean, you've seen the bikini doing the walk.
Well, the other thing that...
The wellness, and the wellness, when they do the walk, they do the walk.
Yeah.
How's that, Gary?
Yeah. The other thing we're going to have to fight to get past is this. We can only judge who shows up. So people are going to walk away from NPC shows in March and April and say, well, I thought they said they wanted a harder physique. Meanwhile, if there weren't any there, someone got to win.
Yeah.
So we'll do our best on a regional level, because who among us has that look? On the higher levels, there will be more people who fit that, like those 4 I posted from Costa Rica. You get 4 like that in one show, like, wow. That's really good. But that's just not gonna happen, especially in the early stages, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I know everybody right now kind of points to Brazil, but let's talk about, I was actually pleasantly surprised to see photos from the Australian Nationals and their wellness model search. And I'm like, okay, these women fit. We've talked to our promoters that are in South Africa, seeing their pictures of the people in their wellness model searches. Okay, now they fit too. This is the look that we're looking for. So it's out there. And so it's not just not the Brazilian competitors. And the thing is, the Brazilian competitor is going to eventually have to compete with everybody else too. So it will be interesting. I know when I was in Italy, it was interesting to listen to the promoters from over there talk about their wellness competitors, okay, versus the Brazilian wellness competitors, and who was better. And I'm just like, and of course they asked my opinion, and I go, well, that's a loaded question since I'm married to an Italian girl. You know what my answer was?
There's a ton of girls that fit this really well.
Yeah, there is. And they're in more countries than you think. I mean, let's be honest. I would have never thought South Africa. I really wasn't sure about Australia.
What's blowing me away is the amount of interest.
Yes.
People are way over on top of it, so that's what's going to make it go.
Yeah, I show people, and this is one of the things that I sent to my father when I was at the 2019 Arnold Amateur Brazil, is I stood up after, at one point when I was done taking my pictures, and I did a 180 behind me with a video. This is wellness prejudging, okay? There, we're standing room only, and this is prejudging, okay? When wellness was done, they left, okay? They booked, okay? The only thing that had that many competitors, audience members, was the pro men's bodybuilding show, okay? When the finals came for that division down there, I literally, there were men that had their girlfriends or wives on their shoulders in the back to see it. They literally had to have security push people away because they couldn't fit in anymore. I mean, I think that once people see it here, I know there's a lot of confusion. People think this is a beginner's division. It's not a beginner's division. It's not. I've seen some. I mean, there's other things they've said, but I think.
Well, to be clear, this was called the wellness division,
Yes.
not wellness bikini.
Right. It is, like I said, it's a more, full-bodied athletic look. And it's not what people, I mean, I know we put this up today about the international for NPC Worldwide, and someone's like, I still don't understand it. Is this just, like, is this an introductory level? You do wellness before you would go to figure a bikini? No, it is not.
That's completely different.
Right. Yeah, that would be leaning more towards novice
Isn't it more honestly just bridging the gap between bikini, figure?
Yes, absolutely.
So now really, it's brilliant that you have a place for everyone that is interested in the sport.
Right.
And now it's all inclusive.
Right.
For people that want to compete.
Yeah.
Kind of like, with men's physique, classic, and bodybuilding.
Right. Right.
I think I think that this is what needed to be
Right.
the last piece of the puzzle
Right.
to bring it full circle. It's exciting.
Maybe they should call it something else then, because maybe that's what's confusing is calling.
Well, it was already established with that name.
Right, but I think that's what's confusing on people when you say.
Well, I think if we would change the name, it would be more confusing again.
Well, yeah, I'm obviously not going to change it, but just.
Yeah.
For people that are in confusion.
Well, I think once people see, I mean, they've been seeing it in these wellness model searches, and, I think once they see more of it, especially next year, you're going to see, I think, a lot more competitors. And, I mean, I think you're going to see a lot here in the United States.
I think same person is two different things.
Absolutely.
Once they start seeing the stage, they'll start to get a feel of what the criteria and stuff is.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the judging will come along with that too.
Right.
So I remember first time we did men's physique, and 10 guys walked out and they all looked exactly the same. I remember thinking, what the hell are we going to do with these guys?
Yeah.
And then it all started to play itself out.
Right.
Cool.
So here's something, I know you guys can answer this real quick, but one of the questions that a
Well,
lot
then
of
why you
girls-
asking?
I know. Make it official, make it official. But people have been saying, well, I can't compete in that because I don't have glute implants. Yeah, that's
I leave this to
been,
the judges here.
that's been a comment.
But the same as people asking us at seminars, do I need implants to do bikini?
That's right. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, you don't, and we've seen it online, it won't be fair, and I said, well, I've seen them on stage, and the judges weed out the unhealthies. So, yeah.
Those
Thank you.
coaches might not fit that division. You know, I mean, that's, not everybody's gonna fit the division.
The way we weed out calf implants and all kinds of other odd things.
That's right.
We're ready to wrap this up.
Yeah, again, if you have any questions, you know, feel free to reach out to us. Like I said, you know, you can talk to Sandy, talk to Tyler, talk to me, you can write to the office, as you asked. The information, all the official information will be disseminated on all of the official websites and social media. Okay, and I am going to say this because it's also in the bikini, I mean, in the swimsuit thing we're putting out, and we've been running into this with bikini, the pro cut. There is no pro cut. That's something that suit makers made up themselves. Okay, there's no authorized pro cut. The IFBB Pro League, the NPC, now NPC World, nobody said there's a pro cut. Okay, no suit maker, suit designer has the authorization or was giving a license or anything to be the official suit maker for the organizations. There are none. And if anybody's telling you that, and if anybody's saying this is an approved pro cut, that's because the suit maker approved it. It wasn't approved from the organization. And I think that's something that's something that get asked all the time. Well, XYZ, you know, suit maker said, I go, they're just trying to sell you a suit. Listen, we're giving you the guidelines for the wellness suits, but that doesn't mean that there's anybody that can say they are the official suit makers. And like I said, I'm guarantee you, they're gonna start saying this is the official pro cut suit for bikini for wellness. No, there is not a pro cut. That was a term made up by a suit maker. And that's it.
There we go.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.